Good day, everyone. This is Pineleaf Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and on the tabletop. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Dracula.
Hey now, everybody. How's it going?
Good evening, Drac. Are things getting along better down in Barovia?
Not too bad. We've successfully survived our turkey coma, as it were.
Oh, did it also put the Barovian flu into a coma?
Apparently, yes. So far, knock on wood. We'll see what happens.
As long as it's not a wooden stake, I guess.
True. Very true.
Let's head into our news this week, which is rather slight because, of course, it was U.S. Thanksgiving. The people over at Standing Stones aren't exactly at their most active that week.
Not really. We have a chronicle.
Ooh.
But that's really about it.
Oh.
Nothing too much. The DDO Chronicle issue 310, where we have some people dancing around some treasure chest and gold.
Are there mimics dancing with them?
No mimics. Just a lot of gold and treasure. They have good RNG luck. And that's your chronicle. No, I'm just kidding. There's really not a lot in the chronicle this week either. The community spotlight, though, Shroud Palooza is coming to Arganescent this Saturday, which is December 1st. You can click over and check out the Shroud Palooza website to see the full schedule. But if you are flagged for Shroud on Argo, this Saturday is your day to partake in the Shroud Palooza. Elsewhere in the Chronicle, fansite news sections, we do have Mickey's Raid. She is in week 99. DDO Cast had their episode 539 talking about past life prioritization, typecasting, Part 1. Barbarians of the Wasteland is a new blog post from Return of the House of Grouse. Don't forget about Baklagor playing DDO. Brighter days ahead. Wasn't a snowstorm, apparently. Check out that video. Brock and Friends had some new beginning. You can check out what happened last week with Shroud Palooza, as it was over on Wayfinder. And click over to watch The Sunless Citadel, which was the D&D night on D&D DDO stream. I always mess that up every time I say that. And of course, we have a free DO, episode number 8 with Psycho Blonde. And we have our Chronicle comment, which is very appropriate for when this Chronicle came out. How do you cook a savory turkey?
How do you cook a savory turkey?
Mm-hmm.
You're asking me?
I'm not asking you. The DDO Chronicle comment of the week is asking.
The Chronicle. Well, then, I will suppose that what you need in order to get it to be properly savory is that you first need a slight amount of breath from a green dragon to season it, and then you get a red dragon to actually roast it. Now, of course, dragon has to be cooperative and be able to give it a nice slow breath around rather than one of those big, huge fireball type ones. But that should, then if done on a slow bit out from the dragon, give it a nice crispy and savory look and taste.
See, Pineleaf had a good answer. My answer was, you cook it with the fireball. Your answer was well planned out, well thought out, very articulate. And to round out our chronicle this week, we have our screenshot of the week, and that is Twizzlers poses in-house Kenneth, and that is the 392nd DDO screenshot of the week.
Then let's head into our store sales, and what are we having on sale to finish out the month of November?
Well, besides the stuff that is already over, there was some really good Black Friday sales. We put a post up on the site. You should have seen it there. But guess what? You're too late. You missed it, so we're not going to talk about it. In the DDO store, oops, no. We have the Honor Your Guild sale. 25% off Astral Shards and Guild Renown Elixirs. Also part of the sale, 50% off Guild Charters and Guild Airship Beacons. That lasts through November the 29th, and the weekly coupon code will get you a free lasting potion of tumbling plus 20. 5 of those potions when you use the coupon code TUMBLE, TUMBLE. Also through November the 29th.
Then let's have a look at what's coming in from the dungeon, where it appears that there will be some re-release of some classic maps as tactical maps coming in from WotC. Now, were these ever before done as tactical maps, or are these old maps that are being turned into tactical maps?
Well, they're maps from previous adventures that have never been released in this way.
Okay.
We'll put it that way. Yep, that's right. As you said, WotC did announce a collection of full-color tactical poster maps from several classic adventures. Though their use of the word classic here,
Yeah, I see a couple of them are from 4E.
I'm kind of like, classic, not so much. But yeah, now Tomb of Horrors, of course, they're using the edition that should not be named edition of Tomb of Horrors.
Oh, you mean not the real Tomb of Horrors?
No, they're using the edition that should not be named. Von Rockath, which is also the edition that should not be named. Demon's Queen Enclave, Death's Reach, The Book of Vile Darkness, Kingdom of Ghouls, Dungeon Master's Kits, the Orcs of Stone Fang Pass. Those are all the edition that should not be named. Fields of Ruin from 3E. The Legend of Dritz Scenario Pack, also from 3E. The Colossal Red Dragon and the Red Hand of Doom, also from 3E. So yeah, classic, that's kind of a weird word to use when you talk about these. But each one of these maps are going to have a 1-inch grid for miniature play. And adventures for which the maps are included, we just talked about. So they look pretty nice from the picture. I don't play with minis that much when I play with D&D, so I'm not like jumping up and down about this. But I'm sure there's a lot of people that are excited about this.
Oh, yeah, I am. There are some people I used to play with who would be very, very into something like this.
Yeah, it's just, I don't ever hardly, maybe about once every 20 times I play D&D, use miniatures. I just never really got into that much.
Then let's go and see what's on the screen, where the King of Carrion mission is now out for the Lord of the Rings living card game on Steam, which is, I believe, their first real mission set.
Indeed it is. The very first one, and this, as you said, is called the King of Carrion. This is a challenging quest where the heroes are going to travel down the Anduin and beyond, and it will include some new enemies you will face, like the Moonlight Wait, to pit yourself against, and it's available free for all players. So that's kind of cool. You can find more information about it over on the Steam page. But that is not all, Pineleaf.
That is not all?
No, something interesting was also kind of snuck in when they were talking about this new mission. There is a big change coming to the Lord of the Rings living card game over on Steam. Remember how when we talked about it coming out, and we said it's going to have a free-to-play model, and we weren't really sure how the free-to-play model was going to work and how free-to-play it was going to be?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we don't have to worry about that anymore, because it is not going to be free to play anymore. It is going to be a full premium game once it goes live. So you buy it and you're golden. Fantasy Flight Interactive's Timothy Gersman had this to say about the decision. We received a lot of constructive feedback from our communities. Yeah, like I always says, constructive feedback from our communities, and decided to make a change to improve the game for the community as a whole. In addition, we will continue to roll out plenty of content in the future. So the full game is going to come with a suit of cards, in-game currency, and custom cosmetic items that will start adventurers off on their quest through Middle-earth. So no longer a free-to-play model. It's going to be a buy, and then you can unlock things with the in-game currency that you earn. And I would assume there's also going to be a lot of DLC and stuff you could buy too. They didn't say that, but I would assume they figured, number one, people probably didn't like the way the free-to-play model was shaping up, and number two, they looked and they think, we could probably make more money doing this just as a regular buy the game. You own it, you play it, and then you buy DLC for it, would be my guess. This is Asmodean Fantasy Flight we're talking about here.
Well, yeah, there is that.
So that is exciting news, so stay tuned for more information. But yeah, the first mission pack, and I was going to ask you, I know you played it. I actually haven't bought this yet, so I don't own this yet. I would like to check this out. So have you checked out the new mission yet? Because I know you have played this this once, I think you said.
Yeah, that was a couple of months back, so I should really then get back and check it again because I did not have time recently to do that. I guess I keep on forgetting about it in light of other stuff I've been playing recently.
Yeah, I keep looking at it. It's on my wish list, and I keep looking at it, and I'm like, I'll wait to buy it. I'll wait, and maybe it'll go on sale soon, so I don't know. I'll buy it at some point.
Yeah.
Or maybe somebody will be nice and gift it to me at some point, too.
Well, let's see. Well, usually until I don't think it can go on sale until after it's been officially released.
Ooh, that's a good point. You are correct. It
And
cannot.
I think there's something like is that when it first gets released, there could be a discount on it. Then after that, I think there's a minimum of 6 weeks before the next sale after that. Or
Yeah, there's some kind of crazy rules like that. I can't remember exactly what it is, but you're right. There's some crazy Steam rules
that will have to be considered.
Mm-hmm. But yes, so no longer a free-to-play game, going to be a premium game, and first mission pack is out now. And I do like the way they say it's a challenging mission pack. So
challenging. I'm a person who has enough trouble with the
exactly
starter ones. Yes.
I mean, like I said, I haven't played the video game version, but the tabletop version is hard. So I cannot imagine how hard the challenging mission will be.
Probably the usual thing. It comes and punches you in the face. Because what else happens?
That's right.
I mean, we are talking about Fantasy Flight.
Exactly.
And I know that there are a number of scenarios in the regular card game that are... ouch. Then let's head in and see what is in our week in... Oh, hold on. Yeah, in our week in gaming. And Drac, what were you up to when you weren't fixing people's computers?
Well, pretty much fixing people's computers. So not a lot of gaming. I did do some tabletop gaming, though, but this was another week again. I don't even think I turned my gaming PC on all week last week. I really have to rectify this problem I've been having the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's a problem.
My lack of game playing is really starting to annoy me, but I digress. As I said, I did play some tabletop, though. Played Raids, which is a newish, we'll say newish, game from Yellow. Look for a review of that coming soon. That was another one that I kind of forgot I had to review. I had some friends over and they were looking at my game shelf and they're like, "What's that, Raids?" And I'm like, "Oh crap, I gotta review that. Let's play that." So we played it. Pretty fun. It's a Viking pillaging game. That's the best way to describe it. A lot of strategy involved in it. There's a lot of different tactics you can use. Fun game. Spoiler alert for my review, the instruction booklet that comes with it sucks.
Oops.
This is one of the worst instruction booklets for a tabletop game I have read in a long time.
Oh, that's...
Just horrible instructions. We had to resort to trying to find some how to plays on YouTube, and believe it or not, we could not find any. We did find a couple live play videos, and that kind of helped, and we kind of pieced together the crappy instruction booklets and a couple how to play videos we see, or not how to play, but couple live playthrough videos, and we got it figured out. But after we got it figured out, very, very fun game. So look for a review of that coming soon to the site. Also, a review coming soon, Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, a gemstone mining game. This is a press your luck type of game. You play as one of the seven dwarves, and you go into the mine. And you are trying to, the ultimate goal is you're trying to mine certain gem combinations that Snow White wants. At the beginning of every round, you draw a Snow White card, and that tells you what gems she wants. There's different combination of gems that she wants. And then, of course, you can still score with other gems as well, but your ultimate goal is to get what Snow White wants and then get out of the mine. And then there is certain black... I can't remember off the top of my head what kind of gems they are that are in the bag that you grab out of. And if you get two of the black gems, those are the worthless ones, and you have an accident and you have to leave the mine with nothing. So you can just keep pressing your luck and keep reaching into the bag, and it actually comes with a cloth bag that you grab into, so you cannot see the gems. You're just picking randomly. Very, very fun game. Lots of strategy involved in this as well. So that is from USAopoly, Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, a gemstone mining game. We actually have an unboxing on that I did a couple weeks ago. So you can check that out. You can check out the unboxing of that and then check out the review coming soon. And then played What Do You Meme again. All I can say is I'm glad I was not recording this because my friends and I played with the adult deck.
Oops.
And oh my Lord, I have not laughed so hard in a long time. And it got so bad. It was, yeah. So What Do You Meme? The fun adult party game. We'll put it that way. Yeah, it was so bad. I was contemplating maybe recording that and releasing like a live play video of it. And then after we got through like the first 2 rounds, I'm like, yeah, there's no way I could release this at all. Ever. Just ever. So, and then also played Hanabi, which is an older game, actually. I think it won the Spiel des Jahres in like 2010 or 11, I think. It is a game where you are trying to put on the best fireworks show. And you are doing that by trying to get numbers. You have 5 different suits of different colors, and you have cards 1 to 5. But the trick is you cannot see your hand of cards. You hold your cards up so you're looking at the back of the cards. Everybody else that is playing sees your cards, and ergo you see their cards. And then you have hints that once it's your turn, you can either discard a card, play a card, or give somebody a hint. And if you give somebody a hint on what is in their hand, you have to flip over one of the clue tokens, and you only have, I think, 6 of those per round. You get those back when you discard cards. So you're going around trying to build your rows of cards up from 1 to 5 without seeing your hand of cards. So like on your turn, you might tell somebody, and you would point to like 3 of their cards and say those are red cards. And then maybe on the next turn, somebody would point to them and say one of the red cards you pointed to, they would say that is a 2. So therefore they would know they have a red 2. And then they would look at the playboard and say, oh, well, we have a red 1 out there, so I can play this on the red 2. And if they're wrong, your firework blows up and you lose a fuse. You only have 4 fuses to lose before the game's over. So really fun game. You really have to get very creative with your clues, and you have to try to kind of work with each other as your clues, because you want to try to work off of what somebody else told somebody, and then you have to kind of remember that and then remember what they told you about your cards. So very, very fun, challenging game. That is called Hanabi.
And that was 2013.
Was it? Okay, I knew it was somewhere around. I knew it was a really older game, but I did remember that it won the Spiel des Jahres, and I forgot actually who even put that game out, but I'm sure it's still available if you want to check it out. And then last thing I did on the tabletop is I played Sushi Go Party, which is just a fun, awesome game to play. That is, you are trying to get the most points by building sushi, and you can get extra points by going off the menu. And it's one of those games where you lay a card and then you pass your hand to the player on the left, and then the player on your left passes you their cards, and then you keep passing cards around until you're out of cards and you're trying to score the most points. So that is Sushi Go Party. And that was pretty much my week in gaming. As I said, no video games at all. I'm very sad about this turn of events.
Sigh.
So hopefully Pine Leaf can redeem us and get some video gameplay in here, I hope.
Very well. We'll begin with DDO, where I did not get my usual stuff with Draken, but I did take my Dragonborn Artificer into House Jurasco, and in House Jurasco I ran the Haunted Library, which proved to be rather intense because it seems like whenever I pulled anything, it was a half a room of monsters popping up all at the same time. There was no such thing as a light pull in that particular
I love that
round.
dungeon so much.
Yeah, when you were surrounded by monsters all over the place.
Well, yeah.
And it wasn't until near the end of it that I remembered, oh, yes, I have this thing called Fire Trap where I could just, if I'm expecting monsters to pop up, I could just drop that down in the middle of the room and watch monsters get fried.
Well, there you go.
But I didn't remember that until the next one, I believe. So after Haunted Library, I went into the Keeper's Sanctuary, then Free Delara, and then Thrall of the Necromancer, which meant I finally finished up the main quest line of Dalara's Graveyard. And while I was doing that, of course, I got the final reward in there, and it had this really, really nice rune arm. But in fact, if I remember, it was the first upgrade I had to a rune arm since Korthos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you could understand then that I immediately snagged the rune arm and completely forgot that there was this thing called Voice of the Master.
Yeah, I could. I guess I could kind of see that. Guess I can't blame you for that.
Yeah. So that's what I took on there was the nice rune arm that you get in the Delara's Graveyard. In Minecraft, in my Railroad Challenge, I think last week I mentioned that I was having a lot of trouble with the newer snapshots because there were illagers all over the place and I was being besieged by them.
Yes.
So I was doing quite a bit of building at the beginning of the week in peaceful mode because I decided the illagers were just making it too much of a problem. Then on Friday, they released a new snapshot which finally toned down the creatures and got them to what they were looking for because apparently the illagers were popping up so often. I guess you can't say it wasn't technically a bug, it was more what you call beta software to test out the mob to
Oh,
determine
okay.
reactions to it because it's a snapshot and it's a test version. So therefore, they sometimes raise up the spawning rate of particular monsters. And in this case, on the Friday update and on the Wednesday and Friday up, but they did the update on Wednesday, and then they fixed a number of bugs that were introduced in the Wednesday one on Friday. So it was the Friday one that I actually used. And in this one, they added a location, a stronghold for illagers, where if you're near that area, they'll have a spawn rate, probably something similar to what we were getting where it was before. But now that they have that place, they're able to tone down the spawn rate at the regular places. So yeah, I occasionally ran into illagers during the weekend, but it wasn't anywhere near the rate. I think I ran into an individual illager plus one pack of them over very intense play over the weekend, as opposed to an hour getting me 5 or 6 packs of 4 or 5, and I was being besieged. So therefore, it was much more reasonable. I think the illagers are also acting better on their AIs. So I think it's starting, that part of the game is starting to get into alignment of what they want. I'm sure they'll be taking back feedback on spawn race and all that fun stuff as things go along. But now I think they're getting to something approaching the direction they want to go. But I have to keep that into account is that when they introduce a new mob, there might be an overabundance for them intentionally for a while.
Right.
Just for experimental purposes. Then I also tried the Minecraft Parkour Challenge for December, and in this one we were supposed to go treeless for the month, and going without chopping down trees is quite a feat in there. Now, fortunately, we spawned in an area that was desert, which meant that there was no danger of us accidentally chopping down trees because there weren't any around to chop down. Thus, I spent a lot of the time looking for charcoal.
Okay.
Because, all right, I was in a desert, so I was able to break bushes in order to get sticks since they didn't count as trees. So I was able to get sticks, but it's hard to make torches without coal. That's right. I was hunting for coal, not charcoal, because charcoal requires wood in order to do it. And of course, I can't break trees, so I couldn't get charcoal. So since I couldn't get charcoal, I had to find coal underground, and I was looking all over the place. I don't think I ever had a Minecraft world that was so stingy with coal. I think it took me until around late day 7 or early day 8 before I finally found any coal. And then after that, I later on, soon after that, found a nice big pocket of coal, which set me up for coal for the rest of it. But you can't do too much in Minecraft without coal. That's the conclusion I came out with this, because I thought that was a rather not much got done. Though I did have this thing where I was supposed to live in a village, and it's about living in a Minecraft village. Native population soon dies because whenever it's nighttime, if you're inside, you've got all these monsters spawning all over the place, and they come in, they attack the villagers, and there's no
Oh, I
villagers
see.
left.
Okay.
Yeah. So by the end of day 3, you've got pretty much a ghost town because none of the villagers are left alive. You go out of your way in order to try to protect them, but since there were no requirements to protect the villagers, the fact that I didn't have any torches, so I couldn't light up anything, and I didn't have any wood, so I couldn't put a big fence around the village to discourage. A lot of the things you need in order to protect villagers require such things. So yeah, quickly. Tabs in tabletop. Another round of Arkham Horror 3rd edition. This time I was playing the scenario where you had ghouls popping up all over the place. I can't. I know some people are really, really conversant to the names of the old ones that are associated with each other. So we're fighting the old one that was associated with the ghouls, of course. And in there, well, I pretty much got felt like I was getting smacked. I went through 4 investigators in this.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, trying to figure out. All right, how do I get this? How do I get through? I think the trouble is that I think the best investigator for the early game in this, where I was getting all these ghouls and stuff like that, would have been the gangster and his Tommy gun, which would have made a wonderful combination. But I decided that since I used him during the first scenario, that I was not going to use him for the second scenario.
Yeah, I do remember you talking about him last week.
Yeah. So therefore, I took out of it. Eventually, though, my 4th one was coming down to a place where I was able to acquire some dynamite, and then with some dynamite and all this stuff, I was able to put the old one down to 1 hit point left.
Wow.
Which meant that if the RNG had smiled upon me, I would have been able to kill the old one. But of course, as this is Arkham Horror and RNG did not smile upon me, instead I was devoured.
Of course you were.
Yeah, so that ended that game. Then in video, this is not so much as video games, but these are viewed videos where I watched the new season of MST3K on Thanksgiving Day. That was...
Oh, nice.
So I saw this, and it was something called... The second season was called The Gauntlet, so being all released on Thanksgiving Day, so the challenge is, can you survive these 6 movies? Can you binge on these 6 movies? So yeah, that's what I did on Thanksgiving Day. Then I survived the Gauntlet.
Nice.
That of course has the usual of not the best movies ever created by Hollywood.
Yep, that's usually what happens.
Then after that, over the weekend, I thought I better get caught up with the Doctor before Amazon makes it available. So I watched season 8 of Doctor Who, and interesting. Let's just say the new Master is really wacky.
Oh, that's right. You haven't. This is your first time. Okay, yeah. At first, I was like, "What new Master?" And then I'm like, "Oh, you're season 8." Okay, now I know what you're talking about.
So yeah, the season 8 Master.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not as opposed to where Dirk Jacobi was the Master.
Yeah. Nope. I gotcha.
So therefore, I watched the season 8 of it. Watched those various episodes of Doctor Who. So MST3K and Doctor Who, and hopefully I'll catch up on the remaining 2 seasons just before they make parts of season 11 available to me, so I can see how the latest Doctor is. We currently have 21 supporters on Patreon. If you would like to help support DDO Players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or be guests with us for an episode of DDO Players News. We did not have any emails this week, but if you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast@ddoplayers.com. And you could also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance at Players Alliance, DDO Players at DDO Players, Draculetta at Dracula_72, and Pineleaf at Pineleaf Neils. You can also follow Drac at Draculetta_72 on Twitch. The Players Alliance has 2 live shows every Monday at 8:30 p.m. US Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News, and every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. US Eastern Time, we have Lojo Players News. You can join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight, and this is Pineleaf Neils reminding you to quest responsibly.